well, time now for us to meet our next guest. Her name is Mary Joseph Shege, and she's here to tell us a bit about her story on overcoming rejection. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante sana.
Now, sometimes things happen to us and they can really put us down. And there are those of us who will absolutely just stay down and it will define us and we'll stay there. But there are others who are able to actually bounce back, and not just bounce back, but actually be stronger than they were before. And all of us in one way or another might experience rejection, okay? It could be from a job, from a person, from a family member, whatever it is. Many of us have gone through some level of rejection, and that can really affect our core. It hurts, right?
Very
Rejection
much.
really
Deeply hurts.
Deeply hurts. And that's part of what you're going to be sharing with us
Mm-hmm.
today.
Yeah.
But there's a silver lining with your story, because you've been able to turn it around, turn around your negative experience, and you're actually here today because of the decision
Yes.
to keep going.
Exactly.
Wow, fantastic. So let's begin with giving our viewers a background on your story. You suffered rejection as a child.
Yes.
And that's just not the age people expect to be going through rejection.
That is true.
What happened?
I come from a family of 8, dad, mom, and 6 siblings. And the 2 of us, I'm the 4th born. So the 5th born and the 3rd born and the 4th born, we are named after my mom's side. That is, for those, there are those the tribes that really still name their kids as per their fathers, mothers, and all that. So I'm named from my mother's side, and the other 4 are from my dad's side. And dad was that man who could, like, favorism. I experienced favorism from a small child, that I'm from the mom's side. So whatever I need, I go to mommy.
Okay.
The rest of the 4 are...
Just because of who they are named after?
Yes. It was as serious as that. To a level of, if I could maybe visit my grandma, with grandma and grandpa, at times they will fall sick. You go visit them, wash their clothes, prepare food for them. If you dare go, and he hears that you're there, when you come back, even fare or school fees, anything, ask them to give you. Where are you going? From the mom's side now, where mom has come from, even visiting them was an issue.
Okay.
Because he feels we should not. If you have to visit, we have to visit the other side where he has come from, but not from mom's side. If you go there, they provide everything for you.
How was the relationship between your parents, between your dad and your mom? Like, how was their marriage?
It was horrible.
Okay.
In fact, there was a time I reached, when I was big, I told mom, if these are the kind of marriages that we are heading to, then better be single. I wouldn't want a dad like this one or a husband like this one, because it was a life of beating up my mother every night. My mom could sleep outside.
Wow.
Every time. There was a time we had even to intervene because the war was too much. The battling was too much. It was too much.
Wow.
Until I developed fear while I was growing up, and dad is the kind who was too harsh, and I developed a lot of fear and, that pain. I grew with pain, knowing that husbands and men are bad. Men are dangerous because they can beat up women like the way they want, It was really a horrible life.
Wow.
And he was a drunkard, a total drunkard.
Okay.
Yes.
So he would reject you if you would go and spend time with your grandparents from your mom's side?
Yes, that's an issue.
That was an issue.
A big one, in fact.
What were some of the other things that he would get really upset about?
The other things is, like now, later, even while schooling, I remember when I was in class 7, December, he told me, those are the last clothes I'm buying for you. Standard 7, girl.
Wow.
That is the last dress I'll buy for you. And then you have to sort yourself out, going all through class 8 secondary school. You have to sort yourself out. So I made sure, nikipewa sadaka, I used to, if it is like 20 bob, I give a 5 bob, I spare 15 bob. I'll save until a time that I'm able to buy at least a dress for myself.
Wow.
Because I will not live on wearing torn clothes or even old clothes. Others are not even fitting me.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to save in life. I had to learn how to survive in life as a small girl.
In
and that time
class
I was
8.
12 years old.
Wow.
Yes. And it was
really
too much.
unfortunate.
Yes, very. He was the kind, if you want something, you have to write down, this is what I want from number 1 to 10, even books, school and everything, or even it is anything you want for school. You have to write down, and then you leave the piece of paper on the table. Then when he wakes up, he will come and read the paper. You cannot talk to him. He reads the paper, he will decide whether he will give you or not.
But he was only like this with you and your sibling who are named after your mom's
Exactly.
side, or was he like that with the rest?
They were okay. Especially the firstborn, because it was she was named after her mother. But the secondborn was named after his dad, but not his real dad.
Okay.
So even the secondborn was somehow rejected because he has been named after a dad who did not father him. He's not his real father.
Wow,
so he still rejected him because there is no blood connection. It is just naming because it has to be done. So long as you're near, you are his mother, brother, and all that, that is okay. But if it is from the other side, it was really bad. You feel the rejection. You feel you're not loved. That is obvious. So many things you like. Even the harshness, you could realize the way he can talk to this person and the way he can talk to you, they are different things. Like now you have 2 kids and you favor one, definitely the other one will suffer.
Sure.
Because any mistake, the other one whom you don't like is the one who has made the mistake. So beating up is the one you don't like.
Now that your mom seemed to have not had a voice of her own anyways, were there other people who were witnessing what was happening, and were they able to say something and intervene?
Not really. Even right now, if you go home and ask about our life, you'll be told the whole story from the start. But nobody could intervene because he was a kind, he cannot be told anything. You cannot talk to him. He's, it is his family. So you are intervening as who? Who are you coming? You're coming to talk to him as who?
Yeah.
Not really. And people knew he's a drunkard, and nobody could intervene. Even grandmother and the rest, especially from mom's side, they could not even talk to him.
Sure.
They had no good relationship at all. So maybe from his side could have talked, but they didn't. They just made sure when we visit, we'll make sure in their home we eat well. In their home we are shown all that love that we are lacking from our dad.
So here you are, you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
You're basically having to save a fraction of your offering.
Yes.
To try and buy yourself some clothes because your father has said he's not going to support you anymore.
And if you're given maybe a fare to go to the market, you make sure you walk.
So
the money
by the time you were getting to high school, did he pay for your school fees for high school?
He didn't have an issue with school fees.
Okay.
He will pay. In fact, if he realizes that you are out of school, he'll make sure he pays because he had money.
Okay.
All these things is not that he didn't have money. He had money. He was a civil servant from even when I was growing up. I met him. I was born while he's a civil servant.
Okay.
He had money. But the issue is releasing the money, and to who and why.
Wow. Man. Yikes. I love that we have culture in our country. I love that that's part of who we are. But to reject someone because they're not named after the right side, that disturbs me. That really disturbs me a lot. But we're going to take a break right now. And when we get back, we're going to continue hearing Mary's story here. And if you guys have similar experiences, you can share them as well on 111-444-111. But again, she's here because she actually decided she's going to make a stand, and she decided not to wallow there and decided to rise above it. And we want to hear a bit of that story as well. 111-444-111 is the SMS line. This is Full Circle with Joyce. We'll be back after this. All right, guys, so welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. I'm here with my guest. Her name is Mary Joseph Shege, and we're talking about overcoming rejection. And man, she has quite a story to tell of how her own father, who helped to, contribute to her being in this world rejected her simply because she wasn't named after his side. And honestly, wow, I think it's very sad. It's very sad to hear that. And I know you want to challenge parents as well
Yes.
concerning the same.
Yes.
You were telling me over the break, name your children
Yes.
patience, peace,
Exactly.
joy,
Yes. Blessing.
blessing.
Yes.
Tuache hii story, they have to be named after.
Please keep off.
Wow.
If I were to be asked, we can keep off from those names.
So
and
what
if
would,
then
what
you
would
have
you do if, you know, when you have kids? I don't know if you have kids
yes,
already.
I have 2 boys.
You have 2 boys.
Yes.
When it came to naming them, was that a consideration, considering it seemed so, you know, rooted in the
Yes.
family's culture?
It was really hard for me that I had to name my kids Kikuyu names. It was really hard for me. It was like a battle deep inside. I cannot. My boy, I decided, is Prince Emmanuel. The next one is Edric Baraka.
Wow.
But as per them, they know there is Kamau, there is Kenyanjui, as per them.
Okay. But you, no. Birth certificate?
They were written Kamau and Kenyanjui because there was a conflict, and was like, they are like, Mwachamila ni mtumwa.
Okay.
That was the statement, and they are like, then you failed to name us, and then it was really a conflict. But I'm still thinking of to change. I might change.
Wow.
Because I'm not comfortable. I cannot even call them. They even don't know they are called the K names. Okay. No, they don't know. In fact, if you ask them, I'm Prince Emmanuel, I'm Edric Baraka.
Wow.
Yes.
My goodness. We left your story at a point where you're 12 years old. Dad has said that's the last dress. Ile umevaa is the last dress I've bought you. Jipange.
Yes.
At least he was paying your school fees.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how does something like that affect you psychologically, even with school? Did you end up doing well in school? How did you perform?
I wouldn't say I performed that well, but at least in class 8 I was able to get at least slightly good marks. I got 3 or 7 in class 8.
Yeah.
That was, but it was really a torture. It was really a torture, and you're like, you feel you're not loved, you're rejected, you know. It was really a torture for me, but at least with that, and then I was called to a good high school at that time. But you know, the worst part is you're called to a school that at least it was even a nearby school, a boarding school, a very good school, but it's like, go to the day school that your firstborn sister and your thirdborn brother is going. Then after Form 1, after nimekusanya pesa, I'll take you to the school that you are directed to go.
Okay.
Until you realize after Form 1, enter Form 2, and then we will change the school.
Okay.
Until you realize Form 2 is over. And then I had to go to a day school, a place where I could walk for almost 2 hours.
Wow.
And you're going through bushes, and it was really a bad place. I really thank God that after in 4 years I was safe.
Yeah.
That no danger. I didn't go through it. I didn't encounter any danger. It's just God. I can only say it's God, because it was a bushy place. It was like a forest you go through. And it's in the morning, so you have to make sure you're out of the house at 5:30 or even latest 6. And then coming back in the evening after preps and everything in a secondary school, coming back home, it was not that easy. Okay. It is in the night and all that. So if by mistake, if the river overflows, kama imejaa, you have to use another different route, a long one.
How was your relationship with your siblings then? You know,
we were,
of course, with clearly seeing someone is being favored over the other. Did that trickle down to animosity between you guys, or were you somehow able to maintain a relationship? We
were able to maintain our relationship. The only issue is if there is something like maybe it's a sugar cane that you're taking, because that time there were a lot of it in the house, at home. So if you have to take the last one because you're the fourth born. Okay. The one that is not sweet. So everything you have to, like, you wewe wa musho. You have to take the last things. You have to, like, even it's food, everything is in kidogo. But I cannot say that it was too much of rejection. Okay. No. For them, they felt mkubwa kule ile mzuri, wa pili, wa tatu, the fourth born. So wewe kanyangia huku chini. For them, it was not 100% rejection. Ni kadogo, like 10%. Sure. I would say is kila mtu anajipenda. So they like this, the best thing. So wewe ambaye uko mdogo, and you cannot fight them. So you have to take the least, the last. But they had no issue with me.
Okay. Yeah. What happened when you turned 18? Because I imagine by this point, if you've had to be saving for yourself from the time you were 12.
Yes.
18, you're now an adult, you can go and get an ID. Were you ready to just run away from home and get away from it all? Or what happened now when you became a young adult?
Maybe to touch on when I was in Form 4, I remember I was doing my MOOCs, and something happened that my dad really talked so harshly and rude words to me, to a level of, he was like, your own dad is calling you like you're a cow. You think with two, you know, you have two senses. You think like a hen, you know. And it's like, I will never even take your dowry.
Wow.
If that time comes, I'll give you
father.
out for like a week or 3 weeks, and then if they feel you're fit for them to be with you, they will stay with you. If they feel you're not okay, they bring you back. Just because he gave me a contribution card that I was allocated to my grandmother, whom I'm named after, to take to her. And then unfortunately, after service, after this church service, we went to a place where we had a youth gathering. So the secretary asked for a Bible to read, and the whole church, of all the youths, I was the only one who was carrying my Bible. So in the midst of that Bible, hapo katikati, there was a card, that contribution card. So the secretary removed the card because, you know, when you're perusing the Bible, it can fall. So he took it aside and then gave me back the Bible. So he gave that card to my elder brother, whom we are named after my mom's side. So when he came home, he placed the card on a kitchen's chair, just away from the fire. It could not even burn in case hata kama kuni zingetoka haingefikiwa. But you know, that reason alone of finding that card there was enough to call me all sorts of names and say that. That was, to me, it was not even worth even a single harsh word.
Yeah.
Because it is not burning. I'll just take it from there and take it to where it is supposed to be. And it's not that I came home, I had all the time, I refused to take it. I went to church, and then after that, I still went something that is still serving God. Na ni mtu mwingine ameweka kadi hapo. So it was really bad. I was doing my MOOCs, and I remember I missed some papers because I went to school. I'm just crying because why can my dad say of that?
Wow.
You know.
All right. I wanna fast forward the story a little bit now, in the interest of time.
Yeah.
You now obviously are married.
Yeah.
You have your own children.
Yes.
How is your relationship with your dad today?
He's really okay. He got born again, and right now we even hug when and we can even laugh. He's the best person to be with when you want to laugh the whole day. He's such a cartoon. I would say that he's really funny. Yes, and he's good. We have a good relationship right now.
Okay. Was he born again by the time you were meeting your husband?
Yes.
Okay.
He was.
So had you sort of forgiven men and guys by that time? Now that you, I'm assuming, and I'm hoping he accepted his dowry.
Exactly.
But how was it then, you know, coming into a relationship? We talk about daddy issues a lot in relationships.
Yes.
How was that then by the time you were meeting your spouse, you know, and here you've carried this very heavy weight as well?
Yes. So when I met my husband, I remember in 2008, that's when I changed everything about men's perspective. When I joined college, and I was like, kumbe kuna watu wazuri, you know, kumbe they are good men. And at least I started changing my perspective, and I was like, I remember Bishop Harrison Nganga came and spoke about, if there are words that were ever spoken about your life, revoke them, and whatever was spoken, it cannot be. Badilisha hayo maneno. And whatever you had purpose you won't do, or you don't want, say you want, because unaweza ishi kukosa hicho kitu kwa sababu you said you don't want. Mimi with men, I felt like staki. But when I met my husband and everything, he accepted the dowry, and even he has gone even the second round 2 weeks, I think weeks ago, and he accepted the dowry again. He's okay. But I was like, Daddy, you said you won't take my dowry, so sileti tunaenda hivyo. And he was like, who said so? Me. I did not say something like that. He cannot imagine the money slipping away from his from his. But he is good, and they have even a good relationship with my husband. So much.
Great.
Yes.
Allow me to read some SMSs here as I get ready to wrap up this segment.
Yes.
Someone here is saying, my name is Daniel and I'm watching from Siaya. I'm really enjoying the show. Thank you very much. Someone else says, I'm 16 and rejection is something that I have faced a lot in school. Students call you all sorts of names. It hurts so much. but I try as much as possible to stay strong. I'm so sorry about that, my dear. And thank you for sharing your SMS there. Someone here is saying, I confirm it, Joy. Praise the Lord. For me, I was born out of wedlock and rejected. What she's saying is very true. God delivered me the other day. I hated myself. I became suicidal, hated men, said I won't get married. But God is very faithful. I got married this year. Wow.
Wow.
And you say, God made a way. I'm an aviator. If you trust God, there's nothing that he can't do. And you say rejection is bad. Absolutely. Emily says, rejection is not something I would wish someone to undergo. It's not a bed of roses. It really hurts. Winnie from Kerugoya says, for me, my toxic dad, whom even after hearing the word dad, I just have anger issues. Okay. Another says, I experienced rejection on my pregnancy journey from my boyfriend to my parents. But when the baby came, miracles happened. And I remember when I was still pregnant, I prayed to God for my baby to never experience rejection. And I tell you for a fact that the baby became everyone's favorite. Everywhere she goes, she is loved. I'll say there's nothing painful like being rejected. Something you have to endure every day. It can even lead to depression.
Yes.
Wow. So many people there resonating with your story, and at least maybe even sharing their own experiences.
Yes.
And as we get ready to wrap up, I think it would be important. There's the 16-year-old person there who texted and said, even in school, it may not be their families, but that affects your self-esteem.
Very.
What would you say to anybody that is going through any form of rejection? How would you encourage them this morning?
I would tell them to do that. Just know that you came to this world alone. Even if you are, when you were born, many kids came to this world, but God brought you into this world with a purpose. And just encourage yourself. Jua wewe ni wa maana. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Because at times if you wait for somebody to encourage you, at times even somebody to encourage you might not be there. But just encourage yourself and know kwamba Mungu alikuleta in this world with a reason. And just know that you are beautiful. And even if it's a gentleman, you're handsome enough. And Mungu anakupenda. God loves you so much the way you are. Yeah. Just encourage yourself. Even if the world is against you, just know, so long as oxygen is given by God and it's for free, breathe it so comfortably, and just know that God got your back.
Yeah.
Mungu hawezi kuacha. Even if anybody else can leave you. And just, if you're able to pray, at times I do say that prayer helps, because me, low self-esteem was my whole story.
Right.
Even to a level of that time, I decided to end my life, and somebody saved me because I wanted to throw myself in a borehole that time in Form 4. But if I ended my life that time, today I'm a pastor's wife. I'm ministering to many people. I'm a gospel artist. I'm ministering to many people.
You're a mother.
Yes, I'm a mother of 2 boys. I'm a blessing to their lives. I am a blessing to many. So far,
Right.
I have done a lot in life. My life, I can stand and say my life is beautiful. God has beautified my life. Kama ninge, if I had ended my life that time, the people I've been a blessing to, the people I've encouraged, the people I've given hope to, the people I've helped, singekuwa nimewasaidia. So encourage yourself.
Amen.
Yes.
Mary Shege, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Can people follow you?
Yes.
How can they reach you very quickly?
Facebook, Mary Joseph. YouTube channel, Mary Joseph Music, and every other channel, Instagram, it is Mary Joseph Music. Everywhere else, just Facebook is different, Mary Joseph. YouTube, Mary Joseph Music. I have my song, Hakuna Likushindalo.
Amen.
Yes, you can view, subscribe. Yes.
Asante sana for coming and for sharing your story with us today.
Yes.
Indeed, God is a beautifier and he can change our stories around. What a great encouragement this morning. All right, guys, we're going to take a break now as we get ready for our final segment of the day. We're going to be talking about money and the kingdom. Wealth as a believer. Let's have that conversation. 111 444 111 is the SMS sign. I'll be back after this.